Like opening new markets. This is our attrition jacket. It's an advert for Germany. Now, don't ask me to interpret it. I'm not very good in languages. But what this does is, it's a product, it's aspirational. That's a full-page advert in a magazine or a catalogue. Suddenly you're looking at it going, oh, that's quite interesting. I should maybe look at that brand again. In places like Korea, outdoor advertising that was put up, and it's on the strength of the product that we've designed that makes it interesting. When we move to other markets in Asia, like Japan, is a consumer culture where they're just crazy about what's going on, what's fresh, what's new. They have magazines that are just like, here's what you can go and buy in the shops this month for outdoor, and there'll be 10 titles. Then for fashion, there'll be 40 titles just concentrated on, here's what's in the shops. And when you have products that are different and exciting, suddenly you start to have an opinion in the market that otherwise nobody knows who you are. Design is the one thing that brings these products to the fore. We then have things that we can go into markets and open new doors by saying, look at us, we have something different, we have a new solution to that old problem. Now, design adds a lot to us, but the one thing also to talk about here is that as this is a design network, well, we're reliant as well on the networks we have to get things done. Materials. Like I say, Gore-Tex, one of our biggest partnerships is with Gore-Tex. Working with them, we're able to get economies of scale. We're the biggest customer for Packlite in Europe. We're able to develop new materials that no one else has. But building on that relationship, we've been able to get a competitive advantage by the fact that we can ask them for things that other people can't. When it comes to manufacturing, well, we have to have the relationships with our manufacturers. We don't do it ourselves. We rely upon them. But we can't chop and change every season and go to someone else and say, can you do this? Can you maybe change that for us? We have to really rely that over the seasons we can build with them. We can offer them enough product that we get the right price. They know how to construct a pocket properly. They know how to tape things. We don't have to invest as much time teaching them. And that's part of a network. It's a big network as well, especially when the amount of products we make in different categories and different requirements. So there's a lot of things that having a manufacturing network is a massive benefit. Other companies, now, it's a bit, pardon me, in the market today, sometimes if you can bring a different opinion on your brand, it adds value. So we go out and actively seek partners who bring something a little bit different. Our biggest problem is, when I joined the company, I was asked, what do you think of the company? And I said, it's kind of the Marks and Spencers of the outdoor world. And it is, unfortunately. We do great products, but where's the zing, where's the pizzazz, where's the bit that makes it super interesting? So often collaborating with companies outside of our sphere of the outdoor helps us. For example, these are brands which have nothing whatsoever to do with the outdoor market. But the fact that we're talking with them and we're creating some products, it makes us look a little bit more interesting. If it's boutique stores like Pata in Amsterdam or Slam City Skateboards, we've got nothing to do with skateboards. But speaking with the chaps in the shop, they were saying, we'd love to do a jacket with you because we need something that's really small and cheap that you can just sort of chuck in your pocket. And, well, that's what we specialise in. Yeah, and we need that for when we go skateboarding. Great. We have an ongoing collaboration with a chap called Jeff Griffin and his company. He's big in Japan. I doubt anyone's heard of him here. But the one thing is that opened the door in Japan and made us an interesting brand where we were dealing with people who actually knew who he was and added value to us as being a new entrant to that market. In fact, it was before I joined the company, I first saw the stuff in Japan in the store. And with the designer I was working with then, we were really taken aback by the fact that Berghaus is doing that. That is just mental. I do not understand why Berghaus would do that, but God, that's exciting. And what does that do? Well, it then drives you to go and look at the collection again, the rest of the collection. If they're doing something like that that's so exciting, what else are they doing that's interesting? Learning organizations. Now, there's quite a lot of them here, so I'll be careful what I say, but it's very important that we have new blood coming into the organization. We need new people who can help us think differently. Students are great, because students are taught about how to design, how to think about design, but they're not coming in with the restrictions of, I know how much it costs, it has to be made there, we have to do this. Having those sorts of partnerships challenges us. It makes us want to think differently, and quite often when we bring in new people, we can identify people for the future that we want to bring in, possibly once they graduate. Also, when I need help now, I can pick up a phone and make a couple of calls and be able to find out that, oh, there's a student that's doing X, Y, and Z who can come in and he's looking for some sponsorship. Those are the sorts of things that really help us a lot. And last are distributors. They are part of the network that helps design, simply because they can feed into us what's happening in the markets that we can't know, because essentially we're in Sunderland. But if they come to us and say, you can't make that in that colour because it doesn't work, or that material is irrelevant because so-and-so is making it so much cheaper, then we know how to build a collection that at the end of the day every market can come into, look at and extract the parts that will make them have a business proposition for that country. This is all coming from design. Lead, don't follow is the way that Berghaus is promoting itself. This is one thing that's very important. We want to be at the front, we want to be pushing forward as an organisation. Wherever you're going, the chances are Berghaus has been there and we understand just what you need. Inspired and designed with input from our team of sponsored athletes, we know what's important when it comes to our gear. Our products are designed to give you everything you need and nothing you don't. That advert focuses on the fact that we are a designing organisation and we are designing solutions for you. That is what we're all about. Now, a couple of other things to say is, just thinking about the design network, that's something that is desperately needed up here. There's a lot of organisations, and come to something like this, you get to bump into each other and say hello and what's going on. But I'm used to working in other organisations. I've worked in London, I've worked in New York, where all those things are on your doorstep and you can tap into it instantly and you get a whole resource. Up here, it's a little bit more sparse. The biggest problem I have is getting a designer to come up to the north. It's not sexy, it's not London. The streets are paved with gold in London. The biggest problem I have at the moment is Northumbria University is one of the best design schools in the country. But there's a brain drain that goes on where all of them end up in London. And I get phone calls from agents when I'm saying I'm looking for someone and say, you know, they graduated from Northumbria a couple of years ago. I'm sure they'd like to come up to Newcastle. I'm hoping that through something like this and design schools being a little bit more connected, there's going to be some feedback into companies in the north to retain talent that's trained in the north that want to then work after they've graduated here. I think there's a big illusion about how great London is. It's not really. I mean, there's so much more up here than anywhere else. One of the things that actually swayed my decision of joining this company was when I came for my final interview on the newspaper as I was reading it, there was an article about the renaissance of Newcastle and Gateshead, talking about the Baltic, the Sage, that arts were coming up, and it likened it to Glasgow. And I remember when Glasgow in the early 90s suddenly became design, architecture, arts. It became a very exciting city suddenly. It wasn't just in the doldrums. It's now somewhere that any bands coming to tour the UK, it's an A stop. They have to go to Glasgow and play there. It used to be a C or a D, but over the years it has become recognised as arts, design, interesting things. Another thing that when I realised that this area was moving on was the Tuxedo Princess used to sit underneath a bridge, the motorway flyover in Glasgow. And when it got towed away, I really thought, Glasgow's on the move. This is great. And then when it got towed away from underneath the town bridge there, it was like, God, this is a town on the move. It really has got something going for it now. And for me, I think it's a cliche to say, but it really isn't. To an extent, it's what you know, but who you know is one thing that will help us as an area to really drive things forward. And I think there's a great value in it. I mean, Berghaus, one thing is we've been successful in design working from the north, a network to tap into so that we don't have to be running off to London or outside organisations is going to add nothing but value to my company. So I fully support this happening. I'm really hoping there'll be something interesting coming off of the back of all these discussions. That's all from me, and I'll hand you over now to Jeff Turnbull. So thanks very much.